Trust, deception, resource acquisition, and processing constitute the system. This takes place on a semi-contingent scale everywhere, all the time. This process forms the basis of all communication. It is the mechanism for sustaining resources while maintaining the spectre of self in vivo. Communication leads to classification or distinction, which in turn leads to acquisition for processing or further processing. However, that's the point. The self never evolves beyond the same mechanized system of power and control. The neutral, passive, or inert role is the only possible outcome, not for survival, but for evolution. There is always something watching, waiting, and assessing, taking on an assumed higher-tier role, the assumable higher mind in operation. However, this higher-tier system offers no capricious break to relieve one of assumed and projected duties. It acts more like a secondary plant metabolite, facilitating psychotropic escapism. There is only the choice between degeneration and deception. Do I deceive myself into believing that I am playing a different game, thus calling this system a game? Or do I deceive others in order to appropriate more resources so that I can break free, which ultimately only leads to degeneration? The only difference is one of conditional appeasement or rank, i.e., you were nurtured in an environment where a certain caste of perceived alignment first had to be established in order for future parasitic generations to hopefully follow the same or a similar tradition of protocol. The drug of alteration, the belief that I could achieve such status that I could invariably separate myself, once and for all, from this universal disease or condition. That something I do has set me apart from all others, whether it be an intellectual, intelligence-based protocol, a spiritual procedural ritualization toward transformation, or an artistic separation through higher-tier display, e.g., the master artist. The true goal is to determine whether I can expressly, alterably, and epigenetically increase my muscle nitrogen levels, telemetry length, and DNA-RNA sequencing to a point of boundless further personal evolution. This is the carrot dangling before us all. It is both the promise and the lie. The ultimate transactional time dilation method to break time or operate outside of the average citizen's time, e.g., the slave, is to build up a guild or secret society, a society of stringent cleanliness in rule and thus operational order, designed to manifest an egregore or tulpa through a port. The goal is to bring a superior dimensional system here and achieve ultimate power, allowing for sedentary rule over others to earn eternal residual resources, or to transitionally transpose oneself into another realm where one can hopefully break free from the system at large. Yet, this relies on others in a coterie. Ultimately, the 12 must place trust in the One, or deceive the One to appease the secondary or tertiary deception of the Order, all to evade the conditional preset systemic function through espionage. In the greatest sense, we place our will in deception of the very system that initially allowed the process of alchemical psychological agents to potentially advance any notional aspect, further rendering or amending those conditional outcomes, i.e., the system that got us here in the first place. System, tier, escapism, modification, elevation, sedentary, passive rule. If you reverse the order, you will see why Diogenes. Ironically, Dio meaning God and genes being the system or mesh that constructs us. Ultimately, at the highest tier, we make great efforts to hack, modify, and then upgrade ourselves into a superior mind or order. Yet, upon the realization that all cannot ascend in the same way, the order simply remakes or reshuffles itself into further spectrums of illusion. Bound by the number, the more intellectual one is, the more heightened their sensitivity or reactivity. Can I be in two places or more at a given moment while maintaining who and what I am? More to the point, doesn't this defeat the purpose, because I am truly seeking liberation through upgrade and modification? I am an underwater paddler, seeming humble on the surface, yet deceptively ambitious within. Yet, in my deception, I cannot gain the necessary alliance or allegiance required to break the number code. Ultimately, the goal is to prove or disprove the same redundant number unfoldment or outcome by way of inevitable deception. Never can any truly work uniformly together unless there exists an undeniable master-tier system of power and control, an inalterable persona that does what cannot die or be modified further. You see, you are back at the system itself. In the end, you wish, or will, to become an immovable aspect of the system, an impenetrable, integrated, and trusted element in the perfected system itself.